we're back. Okay, so the next topic will be how to cosplay. And of course, as I was saying before, tomorrow I'll be going to the Promtalia New York City edition, and I'll be cosplaying as Fem Cuba. And for the past couple weeks, I've actually been getting fitted for a suit. I got a suit made, I got a hat. It's gonna be awesome. So I thought that it would be a good idea to share my cosplaying wisdom with the masses. So, wannabe,
Yes.
could you read the do's and don'ts for me?
All right. Let's start with the do. You want me to interchange them with the do and the don't, or just go all
Just
positive,
go
all
straight
negative?
down, honey.
All right, then. Let's go. Do. Just for your body type. There is no such thing as the wrong body type. However, dress in a way that suits your figure.
So yes, dress for your body type. So yes, I am a larger, heavier set woman, and actually last year I cosplayed Femme Cuba at Annie Minneapolis, and that actually included a Cuban bikini, a Cuban flag bikini, a shirt, and a pair of shorts. And I actually got a lot of compliments on it because it's like, dude, you're actually heavier set and you look good. But it's mostly because I dressed for my body type. Even though I was in a bikini, I still wore a shirt that complemented my figure, and I still wore shorts that also complemented my figure. I did the whole heels thing because heels actually help with your posture. So I looked very nice. That's because I know what my body type is. So I highly suggest going to Google because you can find everything on Google and just look at yourself in the mirror and study your body type. For me, my body type happens to be a pear body type. So I typically carry weight around my hips. I have broad hips, I have broad shoulders, and not so large of a bust. So therefore, for my Cuba cosplay, the shirt that I wore gave me more a triangular shape to help give me like an hourglass figure. So, as wannabe read, it's really good to consider your body type and dress in a way that suits your figure. Because there are several different types of body types. And they're usually, it's easier to remember them if you know what fruit is. So there is the apple shape. That's basically where you have broad shoulders. You typically carry your weight around your chest. You have like a larger bust. That's the apple shape. With the apple shape, it's better to wear things that will make you look like you have a waist. So, what I was wearing for my Cuba cosplay probably would not suit you because I have broad hips. Apples don't have hips. So, you're gonna want to make something or get something that'll bring attention to your hips. What you might would wear would be something closer to what I wear for Belarus. So for Belarus, I still have my pear shape, but because I'm cosplaying someone who has a would have a straighter or a more ruler shape, yeah, because of my ethnicity, I had to wear a tutu to basically hide everything. So for an apple shape, a tutu actually would suit you because it would basically make you look like you have an hourglass shape. So, long story short, whatever shape that you have, you're going to have to plan your cosplay around presenting the kind of shape that you want. Typically, I want to have like an hourglass shape. It's nice, looks good. So yeah, I would always fit my cosplay towards the shape that I'm trying to get. Next, please.
Do. Be creative with your designs. Consider your character. Being unrecognizable is a drag, but it is better to dress in something that fits you.
Yes, and I know this. The first cosplay that I ever did was South Korea. So I went out, I bought a binder. I actually had a hoodie that I bought while I was in South Korea. It had pandas all over it. It was awesome. It was like a pink hoodie. I had my jeans, my straight jeans that basically hide my butt. I also had the wig with South Korea for Italia. He has a flyaway curl. I bought like some crafting wire and I shaped it into the curl and I actually put a hook on the other end so I could hook it underneath the wig. So I had everything I could possibly need. I had the shoes. It was awesome. I felt good. But when I went, no one recognized me. And it was mostly because, well, one, because of relations between the actual countries Japan and Korea. South Korea is not in the anime. Therefore, most people in Italia fandom, unless they're just really, really diehard fans, don't know about South Korea. So it was no one really recognized me and it was real drag. There were a couple of people who did and it made me really happy, but that was just circumstance. I'm probably sure if South Korea was a little bit more well known, or if I would have invested in getting a hanbok, which was basically the traditional Korean garb, that I would have been more recognizable. But I didn't have that. In fact, that's actually in my plans is to get a hanbok because one, it fits my figure. It has the broad shoulders. It gives you the triangular shape. I could easily pass for a boy in a hanbok. So I might invest in a hanbok for my South Korea cosplay. But I mean, Belarus, which is my second cosplay, but I wore it at the same convention, was more recognizable because of the color choices that I used. I got like a navy blue tutu. I had the vest. I had the really big bow on my head and a really nice blonde wig that actually fit my skin tone. So I was a little bit more recognizable. I even had blue contacts, but the blue contacts were really sharp, like really, really vivid, and they were actually kind of scary. So, and they were a pain to put in. So I just did away with the contacts, but I was still recognizable, you know. So even though I was wearing something that was not particularly canon, I was wearing something that the character would wear to an event. Next, please.
Do buy a high quality wig. There is no such thing as bad cosplay till you have a bad wig.
Yes, this is very true. So I have only been to two conventions, and they were both the same convention in Minneapolis, Annie Minneapolis. Shout out to Annie Minneapolis. But you could definitely tell the quality of the cosplay just by the wig that they purchased. So, good example. I saw two Shishomarus. Once the Shomaru, I could see the person's hair through the wig, and it was very unfortunate. The other Shishomaru, perfect wig. I think they made their own cosplay, but the wig just really brought it together. It was long, it was white, it was full, it shaped their face. The wig was actually cut in a way where the hair actually framed their face, so it made their face look longer. Because, well, Shishomaru from Inuyasha. Those who can recall Inuyasha, Shishomaru was a dog demon noble. So he had like the royal garb and everything, but he also had like really narrow, really sharp features, really intimidating. So this person, the better Shishomaru cosplayer, they actually had their wig clipped to actually bring out the features in their face. And I also believe they had makeup as well, where they put more makeup darken underneath their cheekbones to make their cheekbones stand out. So they just looked really, really just fierce. And oh, it was awesome. But point is, quality of the wig will always determine the quality of your cosplay. There are websites out there like cosplay.com where you can get wigs. Don't get them there. Most likely what you're going to get are wigs that don't have the wig cap to them and they don't have the wefts and the layers that good wigs have, and the wefts and the layers in the wig actually mimic the layers of your hair. So it's better to get a wig with wefts. Before you ever purchase a wig, take it turn it inside out and look at the wig cap underneath. You should see the separate wefts of the hair as it falls from the wig. You should see straight through the wig and you should be able to see the wefts. There should be a lace cap on the top of the wig where it rests on your head. That's good. That's actually to keep the wig clean, and also it helps keep the layers of the wig together so it still looks real and convincing. So one of the places that I recommend is Adrea. I will be including the link to Adrea on the description. And I also suggest for wig styling tips, just in general, Google it. But I'll also be including a book title of just the mat or the mistress of wig, like the mistress of wig making. I'll also be including her book title there, where you can learn how to style, you can learn how to cut your wig, you can learn how to color your wig actually with Indian ink. You can also learn how to do dreadlocks, upsweeps, putting in extra wefts to make it thicker. You'll be able to do all that if you purchase this book. So, on to the don'ts.
All right? Don't be an elitist. It's great you made your own cosplay, but some of us have to go to consignment shops.
Yeah, this is a very big thing. Unfortunately, the first time I ever did my cosplay, I was so excited. I'd actually made my own bow and I made my own sash for Belarus, and I was just so excited. And they had a contest where you could go and get your work judged and you'd win an award. And I saw a girl, she had like a full Lolita, just Victorian era dress that she'd made from scratch, from the little box hat on her head to the huge hoop skirt that she was, sashaying around with. And she was such a sweetheart. And consequently, she also won the contest. But judge for that contest. Okay, so first of all, she was dressed as Alucard. Second of all, her Alucard from Helsing, and her cosplay. I think she made it herself, but it was made. I remember it was made out of suede, and this was in the summer, so that was not a really good choice in fabric for your character. I'm just saying. But she made the comment that, oh, this contest is only for people who actually make their cosplays. It's not for people who just go to Goodwill or Salvation Army and buy pieces to put their cosplays together. I have a problem with that. Like that's not cool. Like the girl who made her cosplay, she was very gracious, and to be honest, she should. I mean, I don't think she would have had a lot of energy to talk a lot of crap anyway after making a full Victorian era hoop skirt. Like, just enjoy your cosplay, honey. But it's just, don't be an elitist. Even within the Hetalia cosplay, I know cosplay community, they tend to be kind of catty. Within Hetalia, there are a lot of like original character countries, and one I had the opportunity and just pleasure of meeting this Mexico while I was cosplaying as Cuba. So we were like hanging around the whole time. But just all of the other cosplayers were being just incredibly rude to him, even though he was cosplaying as an original character. Whereas in contrast, there was another person who was cosplaying like a second player version of England. I think Beak V's, but basically their design for second player England with the red hair and the sweater vest and the tie. And not hating on Beak V, but like the person who was cosplaying the character was just they were very just up in air about everything. And then also, the people who were rude to the Mexico, they were friends with the second player England, so they were all just flaunting with her, just doting on her at all times, and it was just, I found it to be very off-putting. In contrast, I will say Homestuck fandom. Homestuck fandom, I don't really understand Homestuck fandom at all, but I do adore the cosplayers in Homestuck fandom. They're all just sweethearts in every sense of the way. They'll do anything for you. I mean, their cosplay, their costumes look kind of weird. It's just basically you come up to a person and they're covered in gray grease paint from head to foot, and they're like smiling in your face and honking. So they're a little intimidating. But all the cosplay people, they're really wonderful, and they usually have very unique designs for their cosplays. Since the designs for their characters are pretty strange anyway, they usually have to be a little bit more creative in how they go about cosplaying. So kudos to the Homestuck cosplayers. Next, don't please.
Don't aggravate other cosplayers. Being in character is good. However, only play with people who are cool with it. It's much funner that way anyway.
Yeah, so this is in regards to live action role playing. Another story of mine. While I was cosplaying a Belarus, there was a throng of people. They were sweethearts, but they kept pressuring me to go irritate this Russia because in Italia, or Belarus stalks Russia, trying to get him to marry her. And yeah, so they were like, "Oh, you should go bother Russia. You should go bother Russia." And eventually, I was like, "Okay, fine." So I go up to this Russia cosplayer. It was a male cosplayer, which is very rare. He was very tall, blonde, had his own spigot, full 9 yards. Actually, pretty good cosplayer. But they were really rude to me. Like, they were incredibly rude to me. I wasn't even doing anything crazy. But I mean, I could sort of understand it because usually when there are Belarus cosplayers, it's usually someone very young, and all they do is just latch onto a Russia without really asking them that they could play with them, and it's just, or role play, or live action role play with them. And it's just, I mean, I get it, but dude, I wasn't even doing that much. I was just sitting next to him. One cool thing that happened though, so there were the same throng of people. It was like Denmark and Norway, and basically all they were like, "Oh, you should go dance with Russia. You should go dance with Russia." So I go to dance with the Russia, right? And the Russia actually puts me off on China, so I end up dancing with China all night. It was great. It was a lot of fun, but just before you start trying to be in character with someone, especially if your character is not that well liked, I guess, or if they're an antagonist, please just make sure they're cool with it first. Most people, they do want to play that out. I mean, what wannabe? What's an antagonist like in Kingdom Hearts? Because that's actually hot on the streets as far as cosplay is concerned.
Um, all I know is the name of the person spells man sex.
What?
Xanax,
Oh my God.
Xanazu. I don't know. You're mentioning Kingdom Hearts. That's Papa's deal.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of a bad guy that isn't being
An
webbified by
antagonist.
fandom.
Yeah, yeah, like an antagonist protagonist pairing or couple that you would see.
I don't know.
Like even a freaking, I don't know. Naruto's not even hot on the Does anyone even cosplay Naruto anymore? I don't even know.
You're asking the wrong person. That's like I'm reading your stuff, but I do get your point that you're getting. Your point you're getting at is that don't just be nice to people and ask them permission before you start going about doing stuff. I would also, even though this isn't my dig, do people still glop?
Glomp?
Glop, where you're running towards someone to give them a hug.
Yeah, that's glomping. It's a glomping?
Oh, I thought it was. I always pronounced it glop. I ignore that M so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Glomping actually sounds kind of naughty. I don't like the word. I'm kind of glad it fell out of usage because it frightens me. I do not want to be glomped.
But yeah, but that still would kind of fall into that same thing of make sure people are cool with that, or else you may upset someone. You do not want to upset people. in their cosplay outfits, I would assume.
Yeah, it's been a long day. You've been in a tutu all day, and then all of a sudden somebody just comes out of nowhere and starts trying to hug you and fill you up and no, not cool.
But
Don't.
you still got one last one, and this one's short. Don't wear uncomfortable shoes. It's on the freaking tin, people.
Yes. This was very short. So, for my Cuba cosplay, for my Femme Cuba cosplay at Minneapolis, do you recall that I said that I was wearing heels? Yes, that that didn't go very well. I ended up taking my heels off and I was walking around the cosplay barefoot. And then I would try to put the heels back on, especially if I'm trying to take a picture or something. And I ended up going to a it was one of the convention activities that they had where they basically taped everyone together and we were an amoeba and we were going around like getting other people from around the con. It was great fun. But it's not cool when you are an amoeba and your feet hurt, so you take your shoes off, but then you have the other people around you in their heels and you're barefoot and you're in a group of people all trying to walk at the same time. That was that was not a good idea. Most definitely not a good idea. So, if you do choose to wear heels, get the heel pads, the cushioning heel pads for the balls of your feet and also for the tops of your toes because those scrub. Also, your actual heel of your foot is going to hurt. So you might also want to get a cushion for your heel as well. In addition to cushioning for your heels, I would also invest in a second pair of shoes that's more practical and also matches your cosplay. I didn't do this for my Cuba cosplay, but if I had to do it all over again, I would have definitely did the flats or at least a kitty heel, which a kitty heel would be less than an inch high. So I would still get the nice, heel effect, but not at the expense of my feet.
Right, I think we're due for a break then.
Yes, so let's take another break and we'll be right back.